Happy Palm Sunday, everyone. This week, we are going to start off today with Palm Sunday, and we are going to go through the entire week. I want you to have a clear understanding of what happened to Jesus on Holy Week. What happened in between the time of Palm Sunday and Jesus resurrecting on Easter Sunday. I know we have some idea, but do you know how we got from Palm Sunday to the crucifixion of Jesus on Friday? What happened Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get to that crucifixion on Friday? Because something had to happen. I am going to go through Matthew 21. That's where we're at. Matthew 21. Starting right at verse 1. We're going to go through verse 1 through 11 when Jesus comes to Jerusalem as a king. So when Jesus is coming into Jerusalem, the people are expecting him. They're expecting their king to come through. They're expecting a warrior to come through. They're expecting this king to save Israel, to save the nation. And a king that comes in warring, ready for war, ready to save his nation, comes in on a horse, a warring horse, sitting tall, straight and tall is the king that comes in, full of confidence, ready to go, ready to save the nation. But instead, Jesus comes in on a donkey. On a donkey. Well, the symbolism for that is the donkey means peace, and the horse means war. So the people were expecting to get something, but they didn't quite get what they were expecting. Has that ever happened to you? Were you praying for something, believing for something, and you were expecting something to happen, but instead, God went a totally different direction and gave you something else? And you may have been confused or angry about that because it wasn't what you were expecting. Is that the beginning of why the crucifixion happened on Friday? We're going to find out this full week. You're watching Jenny's Biblical Messages. So let me read to you a little bit through Matthew 21. So Jesus and the apostles are walking through the Mount of Olives, and they're coming to Jerusalem. And before they get there, Jesus has some of his disciples go ahead of him and say, I want you to find a donkey. And if anybody asks you, and I want you to untie this donkey and take this donkey. And if somebody asks you why you are taking this donkey, tell them that the Lord needs the donkey. The Lord needs him. What Jesus is doing right here is fulfilling a prophecy that was said long ago. So the disciples went and they did as Jesus said. They got the donkey, and then they placed their garments or their cloaks on the donkey. And then Jesus got on the donkey and started riding into town. Well, as he's riding into town, there's a crowd of people and they're cheering and they're excited to see Jesus coming. Their king coming. This person that's going to save them, that's going to save Israel. So they take off their cloaks, their garments, and they put them on the road ahead of Jesus. And those that didn't have the cloaks, they took the palms from the trees down and put it on the road. So if you think about it, as Jesus is walking in on this donkey, not a horse, donkey, they are putting down their cloaks and the palms down on the road. It would be like today walking on a red carpet, going to an event and having the red carpet pulled out for you. That's what they were doing. They were pulling out the red carpet for Jesus. So as those cloaks and those palms are set down on the ground, Jesus is on the donkey, and the donkey is walking on these cloaks. And it's a big celebration. There's people everywhere. They're excited. They're happy, and they're yelling, "Hosanna, the Son of David." Hosanna means deliver us. Hosanna, deliver us, save us, save us. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest of heaven. They're praising God. They're calling for salvation from the highest place in heaven. They're calling on him. Oh, we're so happy. Hosanna in the highest. That's what Palm Sunday is. That's what we are celebrating today. That's what we are learning about today. It's the first day of Jesus coming in. He's going to save his people. He is going to save his people. He's going to save them differently than what they have in mind. Just like he came into town differently than what they had in mind. Just like when we go through a difficult situation, we think Jesus is going to save us in a particular way. But he doesn't do it that way. He does it a different way. Because his way is always better. This is just the beginning of the week. I pray that you stay tuned Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and learn more about each day as we progress through Holy Week. What happened through Holy Week? What happened after this big celebration where they're putting out the red carpet for Jesus? What happened after that? Because tomorrow something else happens. Tuesday another thing happens, Wednesday, and then Thursday. And then Friday is brutal. And we're going to go through brutally what Jesus endured. I'm going to read from you a passage that explains, that puts all four of the Gospels together on Friday and explains what Jesus endured. And I'm praying that it breaks your heart. Because when it breaks your heart, and when you understand what Jesus did for you during this Holy Week, it will give you a better understanding of what Easter is. Easter is not Easter eggs and bunnies and chicks. Easter is that tomb. That rock in front of the tomb was rolled over so Jesus could come out of the tomb and be resurrected again. I praise you, I bless you, that you have a blessed day, and that you come back tomorrow. I'll be starting tomorrow morning, and we'll go into what changed from Palm Sunday to Good Friday.